Good day. My name is Darryl Lewis Sr., a 17-year member of the Alaska Broadcast Media and a 28-year resident of the 49th state. A lot's changed since I first arrived here on a full-ride college basketball scholarship back in 1985. My media career, well, I started as a temporary employee, filling in as a temporary worker. It's been quite a crazy ride ever since. I'm now moving to Colorado to be closer to my children, but I'm looking to continue riding if you'll have me. But first, a brief look at my past and qualifications. Long trip completed, mission accomplished, huh?
Yep.
Talk to me about your trip, about the race.
That was a good race. We feel really good. We did what we needed to do. You know, we had our rough first couple days, but after that, everything went good.
Whether as a news director, reporter, photojournalist, anchor, public affairs host, etc., I've loved my job. Law and order. Thanks and good evening. It's a parent's worst nightmare, the loss of a child. Since the evening hours of August 2nd, 2011, Tara Nita Smith has had to endure just that. So now she's back here in Fairbanks, seeking justice for her firstborn son. She served in the Army from 2005 to 2008, based at Fort Wainwright. Still enlisted but stationed now in Texas, Tara Nita Smith was deployed in the Middle East when she received the news no parent ever wants to hear. Natural disasters.
This is a special report brought to you by KTVF Channel 11. Thank you for tuning in. On Sunday afternoon, officials monitoring the Stewart Creek 2 wildfire that's raging out of control near the Two Rivers and Pleasant Valley area issued immediate evacuation orders to residents living there. News Center 11's Darryl Lewis was in Pleasant Valley today and has this breaking story.
Thanks. Less than 12 hours after a community meeting with Pleasant Valley and Two Rivers residents meant to answer questions for concerned citizens in the wake of the Stewart Creek 2 fire, immediate evacuation notices issued on Sunday.
It's really hard to tell, but I can tell you, it starts getting down off this slope right here. I'm telling you that it's time to go.
On Sunday afternoon, the skies in and around Two Rivers and Pleasant Valley turned dark, fire moving closer to their area, meaning residents such as Dan and Eddie King of Pleasant Valley were given their marching orders. Asked to leave their yet-to-be-completed residence and not feeling the love, namely for those at the root cause of the situation.
I'm really mad at the military, extremely mad and disappointed, because our summer has just been absolutely destroyed. It's been a horrible nightmare going from one day to the next, not knowing if this day was going to get here. And I would just like an apology, public.
Legislative and political issues. The 2010 U.S. senatorial race for Lisa Murkowski's seat on the U.S. Senate arguably was one of the most contentious in state history. And those close to the political process remember how it all eventually panned out. Now, years later, one of those candidates, Joe Miller, says he's contemplating another run for U.S. Senate. Only now he has his sights set on junior Senator Mark Begich. Have you heard from the public and as far as what he is doing and what he is not doing?
Right. Well, I mean, one of the things that we've recently seen with his change on the gun control bill is that he's trying to make himself appear more conservative than he really is. And I applaud every time somebody votes conservatively, but he does have a record of 4.5 years of supporting Obama, which has not been, I don't believe, good for the country. It certainly has been socialist in its approach. And so I think that come the general election, people are going to understand that, look, what we're really voting for here is somebody that wants to grow and expand government as opposed to somebody that wants to get government back on the right fiscal track and wants Alaska to focus not on that easy money, but on the resource base to expand our economy.
Following our governor,
I've sure enjoyed being able to report with you, give updates to you, and have you ask questions, and just appreciate your great work in this great state. So thank you so much.
Breaking news during spring, summer, fall, and even at 40 below. It was an unusual occurrence late Thursday after the driver of this Ford Ranger pickup truck tried to pull a feat that baffled even veteran law enforcement officials who were on scene.
He said that he was trying to drive through the mall. He wanted to get in through the front and see if he could drive all the way through the mall with his truck.
Now, while no one was injured in the incident, eyewitnesses at the scene say it sure made for an interesting evening.
I was working, I work at Hot Topic, and I heard a really loud crash. I thought maybe one of the vendors stands had fallen down, and I looked out my door and there was nothing going on, but there was a huge group of people out. So I ran out real quick to see if everything was okay, and a guy had run through the second door, and he was gunning through or he ran through the first door, and then he was gunning it through to the second door, and then just like floored it back out.
Joseph Wilson was arrested on scene and taken to the Fairbanks Correctional Center, charged with driving under the influence, felony assault, and felony criminal mischief. And fortunately, no one was hurt in the mishap. The normal flow of mall patrons going to and from the building. Witnesses still detailed, however, how scared they were to not only see, but find an older model Ford Ranger rolling in the mall area.
I see this brown truck, or at the time I couldn't tell it was brown, it was just dark colored, but it came straight at the door and there was a loud crash, and he came through the door and kept trying to go forward, and when it was apparent he wasn't going forward anymore, he reversed out.
Kind of crazy because he almost wound up hitting the sunglass shop that's right there. He actually knocked the wall forward a little bit to where the whole door system's probably going to have to be replaced, so yeah.
Crazy night.
Oh, very crazy night. Welcome to Fairbanks.
Police say they believe Wilson was under the influence of marijuana and another drug as well, and for his troubles probably did a few $1,000s worth of damage to the building. With help from Darryl Clark, I'm Darryl Lewis, News Center 11. As you can see behind me, one major piece of fire equipment belonging to the Esther Volunteer Fire Department wasn't able to make it to the fire along Jones Road late this afternoon. Now, I happened to come up on the accident. Fire officials that were inside of the truck at the time of the accident assured me that they were okay. But as you can see, it's going to be a while before this truck, this giant piece of equipment, is able to be brought up, and whether it's still usable after that is anyone's guess. The good thing is everyone was able to make it out okay. For News Center 11, I'm Darryl Lewis. Back to you in the studio. And that's going to do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rolling with me for a spell. For more KTVF sports, log on to Twitter, YouTube, webcenter11.com. You can even download our mobile app, whatever's your flavor. But for now, don't go anywhere because Holly's back with your weather. She's next. We'll see ya. Now, one way or another, Colorado, here I come. And as far as continuing my broadcast media career, I'm looking to do that as well, if you'll have me. But one thing's for sure, you'll be glad you did.